am calling this piece Dance with Flowers, and I am filming this in a beautiful location in Puerto Rico near the beach. We're gonna start with the hummingbird. This hummingbird is gonna be on top of some purple flowers, and we're painting this on top of it's called Moorman's wet board. I painted the eye black, and now I'm gonna take a light gray. This is cool gray 10%, and I am going to paint a light section on the top. I think we should go with white. Let's go with white. And I am sharpening my pencil, and I'm not able to get very sharp points because I forgot my sharpener at home, so we'll do the best that we can. And this is white in here, and then let's try to put the light gray in the remainder in here. See if we can put at least a tiny bit of white on the other side, and then let's put the light gray in there. There are gonna be more black, and the beak is black, so do not paint this section in here because that is the beak. And let's just put this color in the remainder of this area, and I am going to do that out of camera, and I will be right back. I have not finished, but I have to tell you something. When you're using sweatboard, you have to apply the color several times. You have to move the color several times until it starts taking. So apply, and I think this happens when you're working on paper too, that you have to keep applying the color until the fibers start filling with this color. And we are going to take a darker color in here, but I wanted to have the eye separated from the remainder, and this section in here has to be lighter, so that's why we put white in there. And maybe a tiny bit of white in here. So I'm gonna take a darker color that is not completely black, and this is sepia, and that's the color that I'm gonna put underneath in here. So now you're gonna have that dark sepia. You have a border. Let's see if you can see it. You have a border of this cool gray 10%, which is gonna go all the way here, but we're gonna tint this color with the sepia too in there. But then let's take black. And you remember the eye was black. We're gonna also put some black in here. And I apologize if you have some noise. I am filming in a hotel. So I'm trying to go on top of those lines, and I had a problem that I forgot in my house, the sharpener, so I don't have a sharpener. I'm using this to sharpen my pencils, and it's not doing a good job. So, but if you're at your home, use a good sharpener. The remainder of these I'm gonna fill with sepia, and I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna return as soon as I finish filling that with sepia. Okay, I have the pig all painted with that color, and remember that we put some black in this section in here. In here we put some black, tiny bit of black on the outside edge. Make sure when you're using matte board that you have a tissue paper underneath your hand. And I'm gonna put some black also in here. And I'm gonna put a little bit more of that sepia in here. And start building the shading with the sepia in this side. We are going to take a peach color. I'm gonna see if this works. This is Deco Peach. It's one of the colors inside of that. It's one of the colors inside of the full set, and it is Deco Peach. I'm gonna put a tiny bit of this color. It's probably the reflection from the flowers. And we're gonna put it a tiny bit in here, like so. Then, and for this we need a very good point, which I don't have. But you're gonna start putting some lines in here. And starting with this one in here. And you can use your pattern if you want, but I'm not going to use the pattern. I'm just gonna freehand these, and they're marks, and they start getting smaller and smaller until they disappear. Then I'm gonna do another row in here, and they start getting smaller and lighter until they disappear. I'm gonna put this one very lightly in there, and this one very lightly in here, not as strong. The ones in here are lighter. I'm using less pressure, so they are lighter, and lighter and lighter, lighter. Then you're gonna see some darker ones in here. So use a tiny bit more pressure when you want darker. Okay. We're gonna move now to, and I think I'm gonna move to that wing since it's closer in here, because it's hard. Let's do that tiny wing in there. And I'm gonna again use that Deco Peach, and I'm gonna try to put it lightly in here. And then we're gonna start bringing the green colors. This is jade green, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to fill in this jade green in here, and in here I skipped like a row, and I put jade green. And we need a color that is not as dark as the sepia, so we need it like like chocolate. Let's take chocolate. I'm gonna put chocolate on that wing in there, and I'm gonna put it in here, but we are going to put some of the sepia too in there. So this is sepia. Sepia. And I'm going to use some of this sepia in here. Tiny bit on top of this green. I'm gonna put a tiny bit of sepia. I need a lighter peach. Let's do this. Want this to read peach, so I'm gonna take a salmon pink. I want it to read peach, but then I'm gonna put white on top. Let's see. And then I'm gonna highlight that with white and try to cover that graphite line that I have in there. I'm gonna continue with that jade green. I'm gonna put these are marks, and I have not decided yet how I'm gonna do this, but let's put some jade green in here. I'm having trouble with this surface. It's moving, so I'm sorry if it moved. Take again that deco peach and blend that in there with the deco peach. Gonna put this deco peach on the side. I'm gonna highlight with this is not deco peach, I'm sorry, this is salmon pink. Thinking of an easier way to do this, what we're gonna do, we're gonna base coat this section completely with this jade green, and I'm trying to make this easier. You have those black marks, so you're gonna use them later to put more, but for now we're gonna put jade green on the body. In here we're gonna put jade green, the body completely with jade green, not the wings, only that body. Let's put jade green on the body completely. Now, I'll highlight this section with the cool gray. Cool gray, 10%. Now, in this area, we need a brighter and cooler. It is brighter and cooler in here and warmer and darker in there. So we're gonna start making the pattern that it needs, but I need to sharpen this, and I'm gonna try to sharpen with this sharpener that I have that is not too good for sharpening. Well, this is the best I can do with this sharpener that I have right now. Okay, and we're going to do lines. They're like curved like this. They're like crescent shapes. And we're gonna make crescent shapes in here. I hope you can see it. Okay, then we're gonna take a lighter. See, this is powder blue. The other one was light aqua. So we did with light aqua. We did this with light aqua. And before we do the blue, we're gonna take the dark green. And this is Kelly green. So we're gonna make the same type of, I might probably need to do some sharpening in here, but I don't have a good sharpener. We have to go a tiny bit. When it start losing the focus, that means that we're too close up. So this is the Kelly green, and we're gonna make those darker ones in here. The same. Again, I'm doing like crescent shapes. Take a piece of paper and show you. I'm doing like this. Crescent shape. That is what I'm doing. Okay, so we are doing crescent shapes. We're gonna put some of these on the area of pink. A tiny bit on this area. But mostly the green will be on this side. On this side. And we have forgotten the top section, so let's go back to the light aqua. And then the green, which is the jade green. Jade green. Oh, this is not jade green, sorry. It's not jade green, the color is Kelly green. Kelly green. Okay, we are going to take dark, let's see, dark brown. If dark brown is the color that we need, and we're going to put some dark, probably not, probably it's better if we go to the sepia. I don't want to bring any other colors, so I have to use the one that I have. I'm gonna go again with the cool gray in here. Fill this in. And on top of that, white. Okay, this is the deco piece. I'm going to try to sharpen it a tiny bit. Okay, that's the best I could do. And this deco piece is going to be in between, like lines in between. Probably better with the first put the other piece, which is the salmon pink, and then we can put the deco piece. So salmon pink. I'm making lines. Lines. I don't know if you can see it, but there's tiny, tiny lines in between. In between. Okay, so on top of that piece, we can put the deco piece and highlight a tiny few of them. Not too many. Then we can take the powder blue and also highlight some of these. This is peacock green and we're gonna darken some of this green. Let's take we need a beige color. I'm gonna see if this color works. This is okay. I found the color that I needed, and it is going to be ginger root. So I'm gonna put ginger root on all these ones until I get to the head in here. Until this one, all these are gonna be filled in with ginger root. So I'm gonna do that and I will return. Ginger root in here. I did it in the with the camera on. Okay, so this is ginger root. And I'm gonna take now the peachy color, which is the salmon pink, and I'm gonna put salmon pink on some, like in here at the beginning. Then I'm gonna skip one and put another one, and in between you're gonna put salmon pink. And then I'm gonna take the sepia, or let's take dark brown. Trying to sharpen it to a point, even though it's gonna be very hard. Oops, that's a good point, but it's all broken. It's not a good sharpener. See if I can use it without breaking it, because I want to go on top of those lines. Oops, no, it broke. Top of those lines with this color. I'm gonna try to do that outside of the camera. I'm gonna go on top of the lines with this color. When I say line, I'm talking about the graphite lines. I'm putting this color on top of the graphite lines. It's not going to be now graphite, it's going to be this color, which is dark brown. So on top of those graphite lines, I'm putting this color. Okay, I'm going to put again a tiny bit of this peach. It's salmon pink. Salmon pink. But if you lose your lines, make sure you put it again, those graphite lines with this dark brown. It is thick in here and in here, and even thicker in the one on the outside. Then you can start filling it up. There's brown in here, but there's a sections of the green in there. See if you can find it, like this. Up to here. This is this color, and we are going to darken it later. For now, we're putting this. Now we are gonna go to the sepia and darken that with the sepia. This is black. I wanna see the lines. You need sharper than these, your points. And I'm gonna go to black. My black has sharper edges. You need this gray on top, the light gray, which is the cool gray 10% on top. And then we can put some of these, decoupage. Let's put some decoupage, and we're gonna bring a lighter color. This is eggshell. Gonna make some of this lighter. Oops. With the eggshell. This eggshell. Let's disappear some of these edges with this color. Let's put back the other color, the ginger root, but we are disappearing the lines on the edges. And maybe we bring some color of the background to make it blend with the background. See, let's find a green similar to the background. It's not similar to the background, but it's a green celadon. Celadon green in the edges in there. That makes it I put some of this celadon green also on top of that white in there. There. Maybe let's put some of the ginger root also on that to make it blend a tiny bit better in there. Ginger root in there. This is French Gray 70%. And I'm going to start doing some of those shapes also in the body. Make some marks like we did in here, that we did some marks. And we're going to do that also in the body. We need to have, I'm going to put a tiny bit of white in here. Bring more attention to his face. Try to go in between those marks. Then you can, if you lost them, you can go ahead again with the French Gray. It's more similar to the, then you don't have to be worried too much about the pressure because it's lighter than the one that you have already there. There's also some of this color in here. I'm trying to make it lighter with the white. Since we have the white, you can put the white on these sections in here. If you don't have a good sharpener, it's like you have a handicap. And I'm having a handicap right now. Not being able to sharpen my pencils. And we have this other one in here. So I'm going to fill all those 3 sections with white. See how bad the sharpener that I have is. It's killing my pencils. It's really killing my pencils. Okay, I took sepia and I darkened it in here and in here with sepia. So we have the shape of the head. This French gray 70%. And we're going to put some of this color. Let's put it here. And let's put some in here. In here. On this one. Okay, let's see. Let's see, this is beige sienna. Beige sienna. Tiny bit of beige sienna in here and in here. This is French gray 70% in here. And here, there, there. Take some of that beige. This is that beige sienna, and we're gonna put a tiny bit in this line, and on this line in here, on this one. Let's go all the way. Let's see, all the way back. On this one. Put some of this color in here in the back. Chocolate. We didn't need to have sharp points, so what I'm gonna do the best I can, and then as soon as I get a sharpener, this is chocolate, then we are going to finish him. It's chocolate in here, in there, and here's a tiny bit of chocolate in here. We have to fix that in there. We have to. Okay, let's bring the green, jade green, in here. In this one as jade green, and in here, and there's a tiny bit in there, and there's also some jade green in here, and some on here too, and in here. Jade green. Oopsie daisy. Put it in here. In here. This is the French gray, and I'm gonna lightly, I don't want to lose the graphite line, so I'm gonna lightly put French gray in here. more colors. So I'm gonna put again this color. This is the light aqua, which is the bright one, and then we're gonna put it in again here, and then we're gonna go with a lighter color, probably white. And then we can take white and highlight some areas, tiny areas. Actually in the center, in this area. So you're gonna highlight only this area in here, because if you put it, we want to give it shape. It's the top receiving the light in this area. We still need to see some of this peach in between. This is a salmon pink. Okay, let's put the green again. The Kelly green. Because the more layers you put of color, the better it's gonna look. The more layers of color. Let's take the aqua again. Top of that. Take a tiny bit of the green in the areas of the aqua, not too much. The Kelly green. Need to go to the darker green, which was the peacock green, and remember that the area in here was gonna be darker. So we're gonna put the the peacock green in this area. And notice that I'm not worrying too much about the pattern. We have to see more of the browns in the body in here. This is sepia. There's these sections here have to be darker with the sepia, and then we can start shaping these. Wish I have a better point. If you do, make sure you have a better point. sepia. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is sepia in here, and remember to put the sepia on the body there, and we're gonna start putting some sepia in here. Make it the same marks I was doing before. Let's put some sepia in here. This is sepia. We're working with sepia. Not too sharp, but I can make some lines. To fix that when I have a better point. Shade a tiny bit in here with the sepia. This is sepia. See if we can put it that way, like that, and then because it has to go this direction, and then like that, like that. Gonna remove a tiny bit of there. Let's bring something to remove. So I removed some with the poster tack. And I'm gonna go back to the sepia. Have to be very, very light. Like that. Not that many. Just tint a tiny bit this in here. Light aqua. I'm gonna bring some of the light aqua also in here. And also in here. We have to take some of that sepia and bring some sepia in here too. We cannot do too much until we have that sharpened. Anyway, let's work a tiny bit. There's also a tiny section of white. In here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I have to put more detail in him, but I need sharper pencils, so I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna work with the flowers, and then when I have sharper pencils I can work more on him. Let's work with the flowers. So I'm going to take this one. There's a spike in there that is purple. See if I can find it. It's like this, and there's another one in here, and you should have it in your pattern, but the problem was that mine is not showing. Should be another one in here that goes like this. Go closer to the flowers, and I'm putting this with lilac. I'm gonna start. See, I wrote a tiny bit of what I was gonna do. I was gonna do gray, just wrote the color. So let's put this color, but I don't want to lose those spikes, so I'm just going to put another one in here so I don't miss it. There's some that are white. Let's just put the ones that are white, even though I don't have good sharpened pencils. Shoot, I don't even see where they are. So let's try to work the petals that are not close to that center. And this is pink. Put a coat of pink on this petal. I already did something wrong because that petal has a section that is not covered with paint. So again, I'm gonna go with the tack and remove the pencil in there. See how easy it is to remove with the tack. Okay, so petal goes to the center. I think we should do the centers first. Let me think. To do the center, you have to have good sharpened points, and we don't. So I just put the sections that I know that I'm gonna have some white here in this center. There's two white sections in here, and a few of the dots of white, and that is because I needed to have those light sections before, because white does not go. Once you put another color, it's no longer going to be white. So now I'm going to start shading, making this more into purple. So this is lavender. So I started with the hot pink, and now I'm gonna put some lavender, and that's gonna make the purplish color that I need. Go over your, do not cover those white section that you just put. And remember that there is a section of background showing in there. Now I want to highlight, let's highlight with white. highlighting here. This tipping here is gonna be highlighted. And I'm gonna shade, let's blend that with the hot pink. And I'm going to shade, I'm gonna shade a tiny bit with, let's start shading first, let's see, with processed red. This is gray lavender. Put a tiny bit of this coloring here. I don't want it to be white. Gray lavender. That one needs to have a tiny bit more of the lilac, because this is not a pink, it's like a purplish. Okay, let's take that this processed red and put it on top of these. And then we can take, this is Parma Violet, and shade it on the below these two. Put a tiny bit of this Parma Violet in here. Processed red and the tipping here. Some areas are pink here and some areas are more into the purple. So now the other side, and I have to jump because I don't know until I have the whole flower I can adjust the colors. I'm gonna start with the gray lavender and make it lighter on the edge. And then I'm gonna go to the pink. This is pink. And then I'm gonna go to a purple color. Let's go to lilac. Okay, this. Start shading that one. Okay, it's gonna have a dark shading of processed red in here. And Parma Violet. Let's take a tiny bit of white. some white in here. Let's go lightly with a soft lilac. Okay, I'm gonna blend all this with the pink. I have to lighten this section, so I'm gonna go with white on top of that section. It's supposed to be lighter. It is not reading the color that I want, so I'm gonna go lightly with the purple. Let's see. Let's put lavender on top. Put lavender. Now I have to put darker colors, and this is Parma Violet, and this ash is darker. And in here is darker. But in there's also some processed red in here. There's some vein lines, so let's see if I can put some veins of this color, even though I don't have a good point. I'm gonna try to put some veins in there. Then I wanna have a very light color in the ash. On this ash, I wanted it to be lighter. And this is Deco Pink. Let's tint with lavender. This is lilac, and you see the ash have to be darker, but I don't want it is as darker as this side, so I'm just gonna put lilac on this edge in here. lilac in here. Still want to have that section light. And this edge lighter in there. It's like border of white. In there, the white. The one below, this one is casting a shadow on this one. This is Palma Violet. This one on top is casting a shadow on the one below, right? The one is on top in here. And we need to strengthen that. Let's take mahogany red and put some mahogany red in there, making it deeper. Let's put mahogany red in there too, with the Parma Violet. Now, if we want this tip to be on top of that one, we have to make it lighter in there. So let's put some white. And we don't want it as lighter as this side, because it looks good that way. So this one is on the top, so we can lighten it and make it that it goes this way. This one goes this way, like that, and this one goes this way. And I'm putting this color, but I'm going white to lighten it because it is in the back. But then I am going to put a tiny bit of the lilac in there. Let's see, I want to have a tiny bit of this pink in here. These lines that we have in here, we don't want to lose them. This is processed red. We don't want to lose those. Let's see. Parma Violet. This one goes like this, and then goes like this. The processed red, since you can see the processed red in there and there. Let's highlight with this horrible point that light. See how horrible is that point? Because it is raised in there. It is horrendous to paint with dull points. Okay, we do the best we can. The best we can, and I'm gonna blend that Deco Pink. This Deco Pink. I think that is too light here. Let's see. Let's take a tiny bit of the lavender on the edge. Lavender, okay. I'm going to put a tiny bit of this light aqua also in here. Here and in here. Make sure you have this very bright. Let me go back so you can see it. Because we want him to be brighter than the flowers, so you have to put a lot of put several layers of the white plus this light aqua, so that he looks very colorful. Make sure you have those colors also in there, and a tiny bit in here. Like you can see that those and also some in here. So some of the white, and my white is horrible. And do not forget that you have to be able to see the salmon pink and the Deco Peach on this side. So the salmon, you have to be able to see that color, and also you have to be able to see this color in between some of these. This is the lighter one. So you have the salmon pink and the Deco Peach. With you're also putting the salmon pink on the wings. And you can also put this color on some areas of the bottom wings. And for example, in these ones in here, you can put this color, but then when you go to the others, take the beige sienna and tint the others with beige sienna. Jade, this one, and in here, and in this one. Okay, let's leave that alone and continue with the flowers. So I put a coat of the hot pink in this one in here. Hot pink. Coat of hot pink. After that coat, I put a coat of lavender. So I put a coat of lavender on the whole. So I'm using lavender plus the hot pink. And now I'm gonna start highlighting. I'm gonna highlight with the Copiche on this side. That side is very light. I'm gonna start shading. I'm gonna shade this side, and I want to shade with the dark purples. I'm gonna take the softer one first, which is the lilac. And I'm gonna shade this side. This is lilac up to here, and then I'm gonna take the darker purple, which is the Parma Violet, and I'm gonna shade that in there. This petal in here is casting a shadow over this one, and this is the shape of the shadow, of the cast shadow. Now cast shadows are always darker next to the object that is casting the shadow, and then they start fading away. So you, on the edge, you're gonna remove the pressure. So you put more pressure next to the object that is casting the shadow. Now there seems to be some of the process red in here. I think to put a tiny bit more on this one, and I also want to have some on this one. And now I want to have a darker, even darker purple than the one that I have. This one is violet, and I want to put a tiny bit of dark purple in here. This is violet. Let's go back and blend with that process red in there. I also want to do a tiny bit darker in here with the violet, next to the object that is casting the shadow. Now I want to darken the edges. I'm gonna start with the Parma Violet first. Seem to be making don't think with this surface is too good to do circles. lighten the pressure, and I also want to put it in here. And I think I'm gonna make some lines. Maybe we should wait until we have a better point. So I am going to, maybe with this color. No, that's too light. Mahogany red. And it is better to do these vein lines when you have a good sharpened point, which I don't have right now. And let's take pink. Keep this area pinky in here, and blend with all those purples that I put in there. And I'm gonna put a coat of lavender because it's looking more peachy and I want it more purplish. So lavender. It's gonna blend all these and bring it more closer to the family of the purples. And to do the best I can with these dull points. This is Decoupage. Gonna re-highlight in here, small section in highlight in there, and you can put a tiny bit of highlight. And since we don't want this one, these secondary ones as light as this one in here, we're going to tint them as with another color. So let's just lighten it and then we're going to tint it. It's the shape that the petal has, that shape that it starts folding at the end, so it has to be darker at the end. Okay, so let's bring back that hot pink, especially on the top in here, there, and some in here. I have a line in there and I don't want that line. Breaking that line in there. Again, let's take some white. Highlight that section that is lighter in there. We can highlight also this one in here. section in there is also lighter in there. Just blend that with Deco Peach. I mean, Deco Pink. And put a tiny bit of hot pink on this one. This one can also have some Deco Pink. I mean hot pink. Hot pink. Okay, let's go with the next one. We're not finished, but this one coat of color. Looking at the picture, and I believe the cast shadow has to go all the way. This is Parma Violet, all the way to here. Cast shadow have to go all the way to here. And I want really have in some areas a darker purple in here. And let's go all the way to the violet. In a small section. The violet. I have to put some pink in there. Let's put the hot pink and blend that with the hot pink. It's difficult with these pencils that are not sharpened. Tiny variations of color. I'm gonna have a tiny bit more of the darker pink on this edge. Oopsie daisy. On this edge. Okay, and I'm gonna blend that with the pink. This is lilac. Okay. The process red in here. And the white has to go all the way to the top. Like in there, all the way to the top, and then the white. Okay, let's move to the next one. And I'm gonna again start with the hot pink, and I'm gonna base coat with hot pink, and I will be right back. Make sure you have your This is a very light one, so I took deco pink and white, and or you can take pink and white and make sure and put a white dot, and make sure you have that before you base coat this other petal with the hot pink, and so that you can go around these with this color, and that way you're not gonna lose that section. So I'm gonna base coat this petal with this color, and you remember that we also put on top, let me see, what was the color? The lavender. So we're gonna put hot pink and lavender on that, and then I'm gonna return. So it has those two coats of color, and now we're gonna start shading, and the first shading is gonna be lilac, and we're gonna shade the lower section. I'm gonna shade in here with lilac, and now we're gonna take Parma violet and shading here. Shading here with Parma violet. So all this from here to here is a shading of Parma violet, and we are gonna also shade in the center in there, because this is underneath this other one. That's why there's a highlight in there, and also in this side and in here. Okay, so that's for the shading. Now let's highlight, and this is the deco pink. Gonna highlight this side, and we're gonna highlight a tiny bit in here, not too much. This petal is a dark petal, and now I want to put some of the hot pink. Hot pink, and blending here with the hot pink, and I want to put a tiny bit of the processed red in here. We're gonna put some veins also probably with the processed red, but I need to have better pencils when we do that. Tiny bit more of the processed red in here, and on this one. Tiny bit on this one. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next one. We need to start finding the remainder of these stamens, and there's one that is very dark in here, so I put the Parma violet in there, and remember that you have two white ones in here. In between you can put the process, and this is going to be hard with this. This is the hot pink, and it's going to be hard because I don't have a good sharp point, but start finding them. Let's see, you can put some with the lilac. So another one in here, and And let's find it with a dark color. I'm going to sharpen. So I'm going to find shade a tiny bit with the Parma Violet so I can find where the stamens are, like that. And then I'm gonna base coat with the same colors, that petal, and hot pink and lilac. Lavender, hot pink and lavender. So I'm gonna base coat those two petals with hot pink and lavender, and we'll be right back. With a tiny bit of violet in there. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the center for when I have sharper pencils, and we are just going to start shading this one. And this one doesn't have that much of the dark purples. I said four. Oops. There. In this side, and this is the lilac. I'm gonna put lilac on this side. Let's put it on the borders too. Put the borders with lilac. And then we're gonna put the Parma Violet. And this cornering here, some Parma Violet, and we need to put some processed red, in the center, and this is Deco Pink. We're gonna highlight this bordering here with the Deco Pink, and there's not too much that I want to do on this one. We have to do more, but we don't have the sharp pencils. This is the processed red that we put in there, and we can put also a tiny bit of mahogany red in there. And for now, I'm gonna leave it like that, because before we finish that one, we have to find this, do the center. So let's leave it like that for now, and let's move on to the buds. I put a tiny bit of black in here, and I'm gonna put a tiny bit of black in here. Tiny bit. Shade that a tiny bit. Okay. Okay, we have ones that are lighter and some that are darker. The light ones are going to be painted with pink, salmon pink, and Deco Peach. So let's start with the Deco Peach, which is the lightest. And I have to find this. I'm going to base coat it so I can find where these petals are. I mean, the petals, I think they are. And I think I can see it in the camera. I can see it. Okay, so it has a section of green, so I'm gonna base coat the section of green, and I don't want it to introduce any more green, so I'm gonna use celadon green for the section of green, and I'm gonna shade first with salmon pink, and then I'm gonna put pink. Those are the colors for those light ones, and then the green section and celadon. And let's shade the celadon with Kelly green. And we need to introduce another green because these greens are too cool. And the greenery on here are not as cool as the green on the, so we need like an olive green. So this is kelp green, and I'm gonna shade with kelp green. So let's see if we do another petal. That's like a white, and I don't have the real picture, so I cannot see what it is, but there's something white in the center. And that was white, and this is henna. And then I'm going to continue with the decoupage. Trying to see where are my lines in here. Decoupage shaded with salmon and pink. Okay. And I really like the henna, how it looked, the henna, so I'm gonna put henna also in here. Henna in here. Okay, let's do the other section. Trying to find it. It's behind. I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna base coat with decoupage, and I will return. So I found it, and this is another light one, and I put decoupage in there and henna in there, and I base coat this section with decoupage. I'm gonna shade with salmon. I'm gonna shade with salmon in here and in here with salmon pink, and I'm gonna reshade with pink, and a tiny bit of the henna. Okay. Okay, then the other one in the bottom the same. Shading, let's shade with the salmon pink and the pink, but this one has a tiny bit of the sienna brown. That one has a tiny bit of the sienna brown. Then center, this is decoupage, add some green at the bottom, trying to figure out where the lines are of my pattern. Okay, I was trying some greens, and this is olive green. We can start with olive green, and then we can put some moss green. They're all too cool for what I wanted, but it is because we are working on a very warm background. So that the background is so warm that anything is gonna look cooler. Anyway, we're gonna tint some of that also. Let's shade this with the moss green in the back. Like that. I want to put some of the yellow. You see that this is the eggshell. I'm gonna put some in here. And beige sienna. It's hard to, let's see. Let's put a tiny bit of this pink in here. And the beige sienna. And then that's henna. Coming from here to here. Just gonna put some of this henna in here. Beige sienna. Beige sienna in there. Again, there's not too much we can do with these things that doesn't have any, they don't have a good point. This is the eggshell. I have to probably wait until we have a tiny bit more point to put details like this. Anyway, let's just leave it like that for now. Finish with the other light one that we have in here. So we were putting the salmon and then the pink. And let's take processed red. This processed red in here. Maybe let's go all the way to, oh, this is processed red. Processed red. Let's put a tiny bit of cream of the eggshell in there. The eggshell. Sienna brown. Again, too many details that we cannot really put in there because we don't have good points. See sienna brown in here. And let's put the green. Moss green. Oh, we were going to put before moss green, we were going to put olive green. I'm going to put celadon first. Celadon. And olive green. And moss green. Let's take a dark green. This is kelp. And this in here is raised in there. And let's see. Has a lighter tip in there. And it's a tiny bit raised. And let's take a tiny bit of dark brown. Dark brown. Tiny bit of dark brown in there. Okay, let's take a tiny bit of the salmon. Okay, for now. So I base coated this one with henna, and I'm gonna base coat this one with pink. So henna and pink. I'm gonna put a tiny bit of pink in here. I'm gonna shade with mahogany red. Remember to have a tissue underneath your arm. And I'm gonna highlight with the decoupage. There's a darker section in the center. I'm just gonna put it with dark brown. That doesn't show. If that doesn't show, go all the way to sepia. Let's put sepia in here too. And let's put a tiny bit of green. Let's put Kelly green. Tiny bit of green in here and the stem. There's a stem in there and there's a stem in here. And we can put this section also with this Kelly green. Let's bring that henna down in here. And the decoupage. I'm blending in here and then we can reshade with the henna. Let's shade underneath with the olive green. Take some of that eggshell. I think I'm gonna go to sepia. Find it. In there. Let's finish this one in here. This is Decoupage. And this is Processed Red. Let's take white. Oh my gosh, it's hard to paint with these pencils. Okay, pink. Tiny bit of processed red. Tiny bit of processed red also on this one. And let's highlight with white. It's terrible painting with these pencils like this. I'm gonna take sienna brown. This is sienna brown. I am making this green a tiny bit warmer with the sienna brown. I want to shade and give more detail, but I really need to have sharper points, so for now it's gonna stay like that. There's another one in here. Okay, all this was painted basically those sections with pink, and now we're gonna take I will say mahogany red, this one in here, and then we're gonna shade. We can shade that section of pink with henna first. The tip in here, the inside section of here, the lower section in here, like that. And then we can shade the tip and the inside section in here. And then we have to put green on the remainder. So there's a section of the eggshell in here. And probably just up to there. And we can put, running out of lighting here. Let's put some eggshell in here. And then the remainder, let's put, I don't know if it's mahogany red. Let's put mahogany red for now. In there. And then let's put some of this eggshell in here and finish it up with the pink. And sienna brown. I don't know where the stem is. I imagine it's in here. This is the sienna brown. Oh, this is mahogany red. And let's put some eggshell on top of that. Let's try at least. And like that. Let's take some green. This is Kelly green. Let's take some Kelly green and add some green here and there. Some green and green. Let's take dark brown and shade that mahogany red in there, in here, in there. You can shade a tiny bit this in here also with this dark brown. Still with the dark brown. Make this easier, I'm gonna find all the stems and I'm just gonna put Kelly on all the stems and I'm gonna base coat them with the Kelly. Then we can start putting all the colors on these stems and make them warmer and shade them. So tint them and shade them. So I'm going to take, as I said, even if they're pinkier, we can start with a light coat of Kelly green and then we can make them pinkier, or and that's gonna help us find the items in the design, because it is very hard to see the diagram, I mean the design, the pattern, the lines. So I'm gonna do that and I will be right back. If you encounter a section where you have two together, you can take sienna brown of one of them and put one with sienna brown and the other one with the Kelly green, and that will separate those two. Anyway, we are going to put sienna brown on some. So let's do that and finish finding all the stems, and then we're gonna continue. We also have some leaves, and for example there's a leaf in here, and I'm just gonna base coat that one with scaly green, but this large one, I'm gonna base coat it with celadon green. So the large one will be celadon green, and there's two large ones that are gonna be base coated with celadon green, and I'm gonna show you. This is one of them. And there's another one in here, but it has thin buds inside, so you have to be careful not to base coat the buds with this celadon green. So this other one is, it has some buds in there, so go around the buds, and you can base coat this one also with the celadon green. There are two small leaves in here that are base coated with celadon green, these two in here. I'm going to zoom out so you can find those. Those two are celadon green. This one in here is celadon green, and then this large one in here is celadon green. That large one in there in the back. So base coat all those leaves too with and then before we return. Okay, so final thing that I'm gonna do before breaking for today is gonna be, I base coated that again with hot pink and lavender, and I'm gonna start shading with lilac. Same thing that we've been doing with the others. So shading with lilac on the borders. I'm gonna take hot processed red, and I'm gonna shade in here with processed red. So right now I am base coating all the petals with first hot pink and then with lavender. So hot pink and lavender, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 in this one, and there's only one in this one. So go ahead and base coat all your petals. There's a tiny one in there, but you don't want to lose it. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put a tiny bit of mahogany red in that section in there, so that when I base coat that petal, I do not lose it. So I'm putting a tiny bit of mahogany red in there so that I do not lose that tiny petal in there, showing from one that is in the back. So hot pink and lavender are the colors that you're going to use to base coat your flower. Now this one in here, I'm just gonna put the hot pink, and because that way it doesn't look like the same petal as this one, so I'm just gonna put hot pink in this one in here in the back. We have our centers to take care, so I'm gonna put some white. We have not finished with the other center. I went ahead and put some white in here with a sharp pencil. I'm gonna find another one. So this is pink, and it also have a very good point, so I'm gonna use this one and base coat that, and at the tip it has some white. And let's see if I can find a purple with a point. Good, I was able to find a Parma Violet with a good point. And let's put some Parma Violet too. This is gonna do a white one in there. White tip. Let's see, Parma Violet. Parma Violet. Let's do sections of white. I'm gonna put a tiny bit of pink on top of that one. It's a pink one in here. Seems to be a lighter pink, so let's find a lighter pink. This is blush pink. I use blush pink in there. And in here. Need to find. Sorry, this is lavender. It doesn't have a good point. Some of these are not as dark. Parma Violet. This one is Parma Violet. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 with Parma Violet. And let's put pink. I'm gonna use this one because it has a better point, and this is pink. Pink. Okay, let's go to the white. Should be another one in there. Lavender. Okay, now we have that. We can take this hot pink and base coat the one in the back. Have to go in between the stems that you put in there. Let's go with lavender. You can go better in between when we have the sharpener. We're gonna go to a second stage when we put details in here, and I'm not able to do it now. So right now we're just base coating, and we're gonna shade. Okay, this is Parma Violet, and I'm gonna shade in here, in there, in here. I'm gonna shade. We need, let's see, we need lavender, lilac. We need to bring some lilac. Let me bring some lilac. Okay, this is lilac, and I'm gonna shade with lilac this one underneath. Blend that in there. I'm gonna shade with lilac in here. And also this one gonna be shaded with lilac. It's a darker section in here. In here. And let's put a tiny bit of lilac also on this one in the back. Now after lilac, we went with Parma Violet. And we reshaded with Parma Violet. There's also some shading. Start with lilac in here. And in here. Parma Violet. Another thing that we did was highlight, and it's with Deco Peach. This is not, it was a discontinued color and then they brought it back, and I don't have it in my other set, but so I have to use this one that doesn't have any point. And we're going to here, a tiny bit in here. Forget to put the napkin under your hand. In here. Although I'm going to also tint, and if you remember that we also put some tints with the pinks. Let's start with pink. This is pink. And that's a tints with pinks. It's more let's put hot pink again. I'm gonna find processed red with a better point. This is processed red. And I'm gonna put a tiny bit of processed red in the centers. Tiny bit on this one in here. In the photograph that I have, this flower is not as bright and doesn't have as much as highlight as this one, but right now it's looking a tiny bit dull. So I'm gonna go with hot pink. See if I can revive it a tiny bit. But I don't want it to be as bright as the other one. With another coat of hot pink, which was already in the flower. It was a color that was already in the flower. I'm just adding back the base coat color, which was the hot pink. But I don't want to have it with those strong highlights as that one, because the center of attention is where the bird is. We want everything to coordinate because it's the same painting, but we don't want it to call attention to the sides. We want to call attention to the area where it has the bird. So I put another coat of the hot pink, and I'm gonna put a tiny bit of white because I want the light to move across the design. So let me show you what I'm gonna do. It has light in here and a tiny bit on some of these, right? The white. Notice that I am putting it like dots. It has a tiny bit of, we can strengthen some of these. And it has a tiny bit in here and in here. Oops. In the top of the wing here and in here. Now, it has light, comes in here, and I want to put a tiny bit more in here. This flower. Tiny bit in this flower. I'm gonna put it in this one with the deco pink. Blend that with, let's see, with henna. And now, that white, we're gonna put it in the tip in here. There. And a tiny bit on this tip in here. And just maybe this one in here. Now I'm going to tint this white so it's not as strong. Let's see. I can take a tiny bit of hot pink and blend that highlight, those highlights. Now I want to have also strong darks, so I need to bring violet. So I'm putting violet inside here. Has a tiny bit of violet because this petal is up, and I'm gonna show you. This is Parma violet because this is the underneath section of that petal, like that. And maybe we can put a tiny bit of highlighting here to bring that up. Plus it's red. This was blush pink, what I put in there, and I'm gonna put blush pink in this one too, blush pink in this one to bring it up. Parma violet in here. Okay, I just want to blend this in here with the pink. And I'm going to, I don't know if I was out of the camera. There's another section in there that needs a tiny bit of the Parma violet in here. I put Parma violet in here too. And a tiny bit of we put the violet in there, and we are going to, this is violet, go now with the one underneath. I've not done anything with that one. And I'm gonna start shading with lilac. I'm gonna go like this so you know where I am. I am on the lower one. Okay, so let's go zoom. I need to put some, and we already put some processed red in there. Now we need to start highlighting. Remember, we're using Decoupage to highlight. And just maybe, since this doesn't have any point, I'm just gonna highlight with the blush pink. It's a color in between. I'm gonna highlight this section in here. And in the center. Although the blush pink has more peach than what I want, especially I don't want that petal in there to be that warm. So let's go back with lilac. And let's start shading with Parma violet. see if this is easier. I want to take this in here. Notice the movement of my pencil. Maybe a tiny bit in here. I want to call too much attention to that one. I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. I have to start making the center. So let's see if we can bring some of that center in there. Let's see. It's gonna be more difficult to find that. First of all, we have one of the dark buds in there, and we have a light one. So the dark buds were with henna, so I'm gonna bring henna. Let's see where I put the henna. Okay, this is henna. There's dark bud in here, but you also have some green. Like that. There's another one in here. Then let's bring the green. That was henna, and now this is Kelly green. And it has some green in here and in here. And then finish it up with the henna. Now there's also another one dark in the back. This is very, very difficult to see. There's a lot of things going in there. And it's better probably if we put the stamens first. So I'm gonna start with the stamens, and I'm gonna bring colors, sharpened pencils to do that. I have this dark violet color, and there's one that are pretty dark. If I'm able to find them, there was one in here. There was one in there, and this one that crossed this one like this, and then it turned pink. That was violet, and this is processed red. And then it turned pinkier, so this is pink. And white. Then this is Parma violet. There's another one in here. And then another one, another pink. This one is very big. It goes like this, and it turns like that. Pink. Let's take some white. some blush pink. There's more purples. Start with the Parma Violet. This is Parma Violet. Lilac. Okay, let's leave that for now like that, and we're gonna take decoupage and base coat one that we have in here behind. And let's shade that with pink. And with henna, decoupage. There's another one in the back. Let's shade with the salmon pink. And then with pink. And then I'm gonna bring a henna that is not as dull as that one. Okay, this is the kind of points that I like. I was able to find a henna with point, and I am going to shade in here. And this one in here in the back. Gonna put that statement on front, in the front. Now everything here looks like a mess. We have to work on that better when we have the sharpener. Let's give some highlights to these things in here. Blush pink. Highlight that one, and a tiny bit this one. and we need to shade, and we were using mahogany red, so I'm going to bring a mahogany red that is sharpened. Do not have any mahogany red that is sharpened, so I have to use the dull one. It's not good. I'll do my best I can. So I'm gonna move on since I don't have sharp pencils. We put Kelly green on the stems, and now we're gonna tint a tiny bit with sienna brown. I'm gonna go back. This is sienna brown. And we are going to start tinting a tiny bit these stems with this color. It's difficult because this is a large surface. I normally like to use small surface so that I can fit them under my camera. So that's why when I was teaching classes at seminar, I used to use pieces smaller than my students. So I'm tinting with sienna brown. A tiny bit here and there. Now we're doing this on the stem, but we're not going to do it on the leaves. There's some leaves that are already there, only on the stems. Tiny bit. I think that's enough. I'm gonna finish finding all these dark things in here. I'm gonna base coat them with henna and the green sections with Kelly green. I don't want to lose there are two separate sections, so I'm gonna put blush pink in here so that I remember that this is a light section, and maybe a tiny bit in here. So the remainder with the Kelly green and the henna, I'm gonna find a Kelly green that has a little bit more point. This is Kelly green. Kelly green. Yes, tiny bit of Kelly green. And the remainder with henna. Okay, there's another one in here with the Kelly green. And then the henna. Base coat everything with henna, and then we can shade and highlight. Let's start shading. I'm gonna take sienna brown because I don't have a point with the, oh, that's not good. We need mahogany red. Mine doesn't have any point. Let's see what we can do. This is darker in here, and this darker in the back, and this one is darker in here. Highlight with decoupage. In there and in here, and blend with the henna. Decoupage. Break that line in there. The same, we want to highlight this a tiny bit with the decoupage, and in here decoupage, and then blend with henna. There is a stem from this flower that is reaching up to there, and this is Parma Daisy. A stem from this flower that is reaching up to there, and that was Parma Violet, and we may have to put some violet too. And then we can put some white. Violet. I'll start shading this one with Kelly green here. And highlight at the top with the Cool Gray 10%. It says this is Cool Gray 10%, and I'm gonna start highlighting this. Gonna do the same. These leaves have stripes, so I'm gonna first paint the stripes with the Kelly green. Then I'm gonna highlight with the Cool Gray 10%. gonna shade with moss green. And moss green is probably not the right color. Let's use Kelly green. I'm gonna blend with the color that we used to base coat that, which was celadon green. I think it was celadon green. I'm gonna use jade green to blend. Jade green. And I may need to re-highlight. This is jade green. I'm gonna re-highlight with the Cool Gray 10%. Only in this section in here. And the other one, let's start shading with the Kelly green. Make sure before you do this, make sure that you have put some of the sienna brown on your stems, or you're gonna lose them. Hard to put this one in here under the camera. There you go. So we're shading with Kelly green and we're gonna blend with moss green. Let's take kelp green and shade a tiny bit this so that it doesn't get confused with the other leaf. So we are doing Kelly green. And I'm gonna blend with the jade green. And I'm gonna highlight let's put a tiny bit of Kelly green under here. I'm gonna highlight, oops, with Cool Gray 10%. And blend that with the jade green. This one at the bottom are more green. So I'm gonna start shading with the Kelly green. This is part of the stem, so I'm gonna put sienna brown in there. Okay, let's base coat those things in there, and I'm gonna base coat them with blush pink in here. This one. This one. Let's take some henna for here and for here, and then the remainder with blush pink. Shade with pink. Green in there. It's the Kelly green. Put some green in here. And in here. Stay a tiny bit of the eggshell in there. This is olive green. Olive green. And I'm going to start shading. With olive green. Olive green. Let's take that eggshell and highlight some of these. Shading with olive green the back of these, and we have one that is very light in there, so I'm gonna put just a tiny bit of this olive green, and then I'm gonna put the cool gray 10%. Now there's a pinkish bud in there, so this is pink. And let's take that white and let's shade with henna. Where's my henna? Shade with henna. Highlight with blush pink. Just the pink. Okay, there's another one in here. In there, there's another one in there. Let's start. I'm gonna start with the green because it has, this is a stem. This is Kelly green, and it has green in here and in here. The remainder you can base coat with the pink. Tiny bit in here and okay, let's shade that with henna. I'm gonna shade with processed red. I want that one pinkier. A tiny bit of processed red on that one too. And let's bring some blush pink. And some henna. I want to shade the green section. See how I can put this under there. Okay. This green section I'm going to shade with olive green. Okay, let's move to this section in there. Gonna base coat this one. It seems that it is in the air, and I'm base coating it with beige sienna. Gonna shade that with henna. And I'm gonna highlight it with, let's see, I wanna highlight it with, we have here ginger root. Let's find a ginger root with point. Well, the ginger root on the other set doesn't have any point either, so we'll have to do it without any point. Let's put here and here, like that. Then we need to find a darker color, mahogany red. Tip in here with mahogany red, and in here. Okay, I'm gonna leave that like that. I'm gonna move on to this one in here. Let's put the mahogany red in the dark area so that we can separate it. Kelly green on the bottom. And henna. And to separate these two sections too, so let's put a tiny bit of this ginger root in there. And in here. And let's put henna. The remainder is going to be henna. I'm going to flip this up. Let's do it in the camera. Okay, so now we are working on in here. In case you don't know where we are working on this section in here. I'm gonna bring some of that French gray 70% and shade these. And blend with that ginger root. Let's put some ginger root in here and in here. Oops. Mahogany red. We need a color darker than mahogany red, like a black cherry color. I will bring that and we'll be right back. Okay, this is Tuscan red, and this is a color that is a tiny bit darker than the mahogany red, and we're gonna use it to shade some of these and these things that we're putting in here. But first I'm gonna finish adding them because I have a few left, and then I'm gonna shade them all because we have not shaded any of them with the Tuscan red. So let's finish adding them. We have a few more to add. So I'm gonna start with the pink in here. And then I'm gonna move to the henna. Let's go a tiny bit closer. Into the henna. And to the Kelly green. This henna. Okay. We can later on when I have the sharpener, I'm gonna refine everything, and I'm gonna show you how I do it. There is a pinky thing in there that we have. Well, let's finish with this one. We were putting henna. Let's highlight with blush pink, and we can put a tiny bit of the Tuscan red. This is not Tuscan red. Tiny bit of the Tuscan red. Okay, so we have one more of this. Let's see, I think I have only one more of these dark things. And let's go to first Tuscan red. Let's see if I can find the, I think it's in here. Maybe we have to put that one in there before we find that other one. So let's go to blush pink, or maybe pink, because blush pink doesn't have a good point. Okay, so we have 1, 2 in here, and we're gonna tint others with purple, but for now we're just putting this pink. And there's one here, and like this. And then it has petal in here, another petal in here, has some white in the center, white in the center. White, also some white in here in the top. Like that. Another one of this pink in here. Okay, this is the other one. Let's put the Kelly green. We left. Now that I noticed some sections in the bottom that I don't want to miss, so let's put that. This is olive green. Some olive green in there. It's a different leaf in there. Let's shade that with peacock. And then there's another one, celadon green. There's the celadon green. There's another one in here that is light. Let's shade that with Kelly. That was not Kelly. This is Kelly. Let's highlight that in there. Looks like if it's not part of this design, so I'm just gonna put the celadon green on top. And then cool gray, 10%. For that one. So we have to work more on those leaves, but let's finish base coating everything. So we have to finish base coating this section in here. I left a tiny section in there too. Let's see what that is. Seems to be a section of, let's put ginger root and henna and Kelly green. Let's take the ginger root again. Okay, then finish putting the one in here, in there. Let's start with henna. And the sections at a time so we don't lose them. Oh, let's start with Kelly green. So Kelly green, all this in here is Kelly green. Then we have a section of henna. And that section gets darker. It's Tuscan red. Let's take a tiny bit of blush pink. Pink. Henna. And then let's take the Tuscan red. Okay, and then we can put henna. I put Tuscan red in there. I'm gonna put henna now. And then we're gonna put some green, Kelly green. And henna. Let's take some mahogany red. Start shading. Oh, this is not mahogany red. Mahogany red. Toscan. Need some blush pink. Blend that with henna. Ginger root. Start ginger root in here. See, I put ginger root in here. Okay, let's go with white in there. Okay, this is lavender. Tint this with lavender. And then we have to tint it with Parma Violet too. Okay, I tint here with lavender and then Parma Violet. Okay, and this is Parma Violet. Let's tint some of these with the Parma Violet. Let's bring some white also on those stamens. Now we have to refine, but we need a sharpener for that. So I'm gonna leave it at this stage, and when we get to the sharpener, I'm gonna refine everything in here. The bird needs more refining, and everything in here needs more refining. But for now, we have the basics in here. This is the stage of refinement, and I'm gonna start with putting some white in here, a second coat of white on each of these. I have a better point. And now I can go inside the crevices. I want this side to be darker, so I'm gonna put a gray color in there. So let's go to cool gray, 10% on this side. You can see the difference when you have a good point. I'm gonna take French gray, 70%. I'm going to use this to make a line in there. Okay, this is celadon green, and I want to put celadon green in here. And maybe a tiny bit of white on top of that celadon green. I'm gonna tint a tiny bit with the light aqua. Now I need tiny bit of aqua in here. Then I'm gonna go with white. Gonna do the same with, this is Cool Grade 10%. This is light aqua. Cool Grade 10%. Maybe white. Gonna highlight. This is eggshell, and I am highlighting this, but I am doing it with lines. The same in here. Gonna take Deco Peach. Deco Peach, and I'm gonna put tiny lines in here. So a tiny bit more detail. Okay, I'm gonna take black. I'm gonna take black, and I'm gonna put a tiny bit of black in here and make it more pronounced, the darkness. And put in lines. And in here. Gonna darken this side a tiny bit more. And seeing here, we put it in lines and making lines. This is black. Black. Let's take sepia. This is sepia in here. Darkening a tiny bit with sepia. In here, sepia. Put lines. You can put lines. See a tiny bit of sepia here. Shading with sepia. Let's see, black. Oops, that's not black. So that we can divide these two. It's a tiny. We have some detail. We're just adding a tiny bit more detail to in here. Not too much. We have done a lot already. It's not that it needs maybe some darker sections, not too many, with sepia. Not too many. Let's put a tiny bit of black in some areas in here. Okay, so let's go now with the flower. Now let's refine the flowers, and let's see, we need to put a tiny bit of eggshell, some of these, and we're gonna put white on others. Now we need to put pink in between. This is processed red, and I'm putting it in between. And I'm gonna put Tuscan red. Okay, so Tuscan red in some areas inside, though, that will give it the depth that it needs. Let's take some purple. This is Parma Violet. Zoom a tiny bit. So if you use the eggshell and the white, some will be creamier and some will be lighter. And then you can use some pink. Okay, this is pink. Hot pink, this is hot pink. Let's see, we need a lighter pink, which is blush pink. This is blush pink. So we are going just to refine the flowers like this, and I don't think we need to do all this in camera because it's just repetition. So this is Parma Violet. The basis has been done. You just have to take a finer point and refine some of these. And so the same thing with this other one. This eggshell. Make some lighter. You can take some white and make some with white. So this is eggshell, and you can take white and make some with white. And take some of the lavender colors and tint some. So this is lavender. I'm gonna tint some with lavender. Doesn't really matter what color you use. So as a final touch on these flowers, I added some veins with processed red. So you're gonna add some veins with processed red, and then you're gonna shade with mahogany red. On the top with mahogany red, and you are going to then take Tuscan red and deepen some areas with Tuscan red. You can even make some of the veins darker on the center area. Then you also need to deepen some of the cast shadows. This is Palma Violet, and I am gonna deepen this cast shadowing here. And you remember the cast shadows have to be darker next to the area that is casting the shadow, and this is what is casting the shadow. So we take violet and darken next to that petal that is casting the shadow. So everywhere that you, for example, you can deepen in here. So you can deepen areas with this. These are final details. You're gonna make. You can tint some. For example, this is Parma Violet. You can tint some of these with Parma Violet, and you can highlight with white. So those are things that are going to help improve your composition. And also make sure that it is very, very bright. This one is the star of the show, and it's gonna have more details than the others that are not. Something else that you can do, you can take, this is decoupage, and in between some of the veins, you can highlight with decoupage in between some of the veins. If it turns to white, let's put some lavender. And tone that down. Make sure you have strong highlights on the top of the wings, and you can do that with eggshell, and you can also add a tiny bit of white on top of the eggshell, and also make sure you have strong highlights in the face. And it's a dog barking. And take some white and add some highlights in here, in the top, in here, so that it has some highlights in the top and in this section. You can add a tiny bit of white in here to bring some highlight in his body. Make sure you have dark sections on this side with the dark, with the peacock green. Make sure you have some darks in this section with the peacock green. Maybe a tiny bit on the top. I am reshading this one with moss green in here, here, and here. Maybe a tiny bit in here. This is a very cool leaf, but it needs some shading. I'm using this color to shade it because the other ones, the one that I have, the peacock is too dark. And I'm going to ginger root. I'm gonna put a tiny bit of ginger root in these sections. Then I'm gonna go on top with jade green. let's see, where's this is eggshell. I'm gonna highlight this side with eggshell, like so. Eggshell. And then we can take the Kelly green and shade on the other side with Kelly green. A tiny bit of this Kelly green on top of that moss green. This Kelly green. That was Kelly green. Then we have this other one is the same. Let's fill in here with Kelly green. This is a shadow from the petal on the top. Then let's take some of this eggshell. This section is the light. Let's make a very light area in here with eggshell, and we're gonna blend that with the jade green. It's a lot of dogs in this house. I am on vacation and this is not my house, and I cannot control too much the noise, so that's why I'm not filming this much. This is jade green, and I am blending with jade green. Okay, that is too light. It calls too much attention. First, I'm gonna put powder blue on top to make it less creamy and more into the blue, and then I am going to go over, let's see, this is celadon green, calm that down. Celadon green. Bring this celadon green in all this. You know when it reached the capacity of pencil, and I think that area already reached the capacity. Let's bring some of the moss green to that one too. Okay, let's put some moss green in here. And let's put some moss green in here. Maybe a tiny bit on top of that light area. So the green sections can be reshaded with some kelp kelp green. So some areas that you need darker shades, you can take some kelp green and reshade. Also, you can take some Tuscan red, and some areas deepen with Tuscan red. So the darkest areas on the trunk can be deepened with Tuscan red. For example, in here and in here. Let's see. And don't forget to sign your name. If you see the flowers dull, give another coat of all the colors. So go back and check the colors that we have seen, that we have put in this design, and apply the colors again. So the more you apply the colors, the more richer it will look. There's nothing else that I can show you besides that you need to probably put another coat of all the colors. So reapply the colors again until you see everything blended and fill in. I hope you like this piece.